You're watching Truth versus Hype. We are in Sri Lanka, where unbelievably the age of the Rajapaksas is over, bringing with it the promise of sweeping change. But the forces that propelled the new president to victory include some of Sri Lanka's most entrenched political interests, as well as ultra-nationalists from both sides. Over the next 30 minutes, exclusive interviews with the men who matter in the new Sri Lanka. Interviews that reveal that the island's fault lines haven't entirely gone away, nor has the ghost of its former dictator. On the day we landed in Sri Lanka, in the headlines, a new government taking shape, jostling for space, with a conspiracy hatched the night the results came in.
He unnecessarily moved 2,000 army troops to Colombo.
When?
3 days before the election.
I see.
So election night he had deployed them in 2 circles within Colombo premises.
I see.
Yes.
This is very
significant. The second
significant.
circle included even the election commissioner's office.
And this is unusual. This is not standard security for elections. This has never happened before.
No, because if there is additional the military security required, the police inspector general will have to request for it, but it had not been the case. The election commissioner will have to make a request to the inspector general of police. It was not the case. So the last president, Mahinda Rajapaksa, and the defense secretary, together with some service chiefs, they did it on their own.
I see. And is there
without a proper requirement, without any justification, without a request from the police or the election commissioner, we came to know that there was something suspicious.
Right.
And we will look into that and find out more details in future.
Yeah, we have reliable information from those who are actually in attendance, that there was a discussion between the president, his brother, the former foreign minister, and also Mr. Pieris, Professor Pieris, provincial councillor by the name of Gammampila, on declaring a state of emergency while the counting of the final results of the presidential election was going on.
Right. And this meeting took place where?
At Temple Trees, which was...
At the official residence?
No, one of the official residences, one of the many official residences of President Rajapaksa.
And this took place, according to you, the night or the early
hours of the 9th January. Then, of course, we later heard that that the Attorney General, along with the Inspector General of Police and the Army Commander, was summoned around 4 a.m. in the morning. And I think there was an attempt to get them
on board.
On board, exactly. And thanks, I mean, to the courage of these gentlemen, they refused to do so. They vehemently opposed any such move, and I was told that the Attorney General himself had said that this amounts to treason and he would not have any part in it. And even the Inspector General of Police had expressed the same kind of sentiments, and the Army Commander, and they had said that they cannot issue orders for their men to take part in this conspiracy.
It's only after the coup idea was abandoned, they say, that Rajapaksa made a call to this man.
President Rajapaksa sent me a message wanting me to give him a telephone call that he had lost the elections.
Right.
I replied that I'll come there and discuss the transition with him rather than do it over the phone. So when I came here, President Rajapaksa conceded defeat and we discussed the details of the transition.
No, there was no such a meeting, but various people came to speak to him right throughout the night. I mean, it's normal for when there's an election going on, and at the end of the election, always the people the government officials, they always come and talk.
So then, therefore, but you're saying that there was a meeting of these people, they were there
I wasn't there at that time because I was in my constituency to confirm saying that these people were there. But there were so many people who came to wish him, talk to him and speak about what's going to happen next.
Day before I filed a formal complaint and gave a statement to the police. And
they will now start collecting.
They must start the investigation and take statements from those who were
And he states evidence against former President Rajapaksa. Will you act against?
Well, the law, I mean, we have promised that the rule of law will be restored in this country, and if there is evidence, the law must take its course.
On one hand, the threats of action. On the other, Sirisena leaving a meeting where he became the head of Mahinda Rajapaksa's party, the SLFP, as the man whom he defeated steps aside. Sir, just one question. Sir, Mr. Sirisena. Sir, just one question. The deal struck at a meeting late Thursday night between old president and new, making the current president the head of Sri Lanka's opposition party. What this means in effect is that, as we speak, Sri Lanka does not have an opposition. At the venue of the handover, it is hard to tell between supporters of the old regime versus the new. What role will Mr. Rajapaksa play in Sri Lanka's politics?
As the patron of the party, I think definitely he will guide the party. Yes, so he is also the patron of the
Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
Right.
But the chairman has now been elected as Mr. Sirisena. He has become the chairman.
Yes. Yeah, but yet the patron is there to advise. No?
He's there to advise.
Yeah, why not?
But it's a very interesting situation because they both fought each other and now they are both part of the same party.
That is exactly the tradition of politics. No?
In hindsight, do you feel that was a mistake? That's what I'm asking you.
Well, see, I mean, there's two ways to look at it. I mean, if you want to look at fault and blame each other, you know, of course, someone who wants to do that can look at it as a mistake. But at the same time, there were people, and at the same time, everyone believed, when we were winning the elections, that the war was ended because of this bond within the family.
That's a very, very unusual and odd argument to make, that the war was won because it was a family-run government. I mean, how?
No, it's not because of the family-run government. What I'm saying is
the coordination.
Not because of the coordination. I mean, any government, any leader needs someone who they can trust as the Secretary of Defense, right? So with that, it was my father was able to take strong decisions as an individual, along with the leaders of the government. But the leader needs to have someone who they can trust.
But surely, in a modern democracy, you need to trust your colleagues, not necessarily family. That's a very, if I may say so, feudal argument, Namal.
No, I mean, see, we trusted each other.
Okay.
But if the argument that I can ask you is it a crime that I became president's son?
You're saying you're a transition government, but many believe it's a Wickramasinghe government because all the cabinet ministers are from your party.
No, the major party, as you said, was the UNP. So therefore, the major number of ministers are from the UNP. But we did set apart a number of ministries to be offered to the members who supported President Rajapaksa in the SLFP.
Those with the biggest stake in change, Sri Lanka's minorities. With 70 to 80% of Tamil votes going to President Sirisena, the scales had been tipped in a very closely fought election.
One of the reasons credited for President Sirisena's victory was the fact that the coalition of Tamil parties known as the TNA came out and endorsed him at the very last minute, leading to an overwhelming vote for him in the Tamil areas of the north and east of Sri Lanka. But are you convinced that that is going to result in his finally being able to meet the demands of the Tamil population of Sri Lanka, which is concrete greater autonomy?
We have discussed it with the President after the election.
Yes.
Other political leaders in the alliance are aware of the Tamil position.
What did he say? What did the President say when you spoke to him?
I think he'll be positive. I'm not saying that he would do everything possible, and that I'm confident that he'll come up with a excellent scheme of devolution or whatever.
What does that mean in real terms?
So we would want something such more credible.
So you're talking, then you are talking about...
Which would give us power in the areas of our competence.
Which is? Like what?
Division of subjection functions.
Right.
Between the centre and the provinces in a manner that will enable the provinces to have an adequate measure of self-rule in regard to matters of economic concern, social concern, cultural concern,
security,
political
police
concern.
So police powers, land powers, all that.
Of course, yes, of course, yes.
But the new government will include Sinhala hardliners like the Jatika Hela Urumaya, militantly opposed to greater Tamil autonomy.
In principle, all have agreed that the 13th Amendment should be implemented.
You're okay with that?
We are with that. We are only having discussions about the police powers and how it should function, that's all.
But that's the key thing.
No, police powers is a provincial subject, but there are certain concerns once you bring the independent commission in.
Yes.
How do we do that?
Lost in the bustle of a new government taking shape, the question of justice for those who died at the hands of the Sri Lankan army in the last stages of the war. The Rajapaksa government steadily blocked a UN probe panel from inquiring into war crimes, saying they'll conduct their own probe, which of course they have not done.
There have been certain excesses during the war.
Okay, at least you concede that.
Oh yes,
the last
we have always done so as the opposition.
No, we are saying the international jurisdiction to try anyone, the jurisdiction to try any person who's committed a crime lies with Sri Lanka.
So your stand remains the same as the previous government, that the UN probe is not welcome. You will do your own internal probe.
UN can give its report, we'll engage the UN on these issues. That's the difference. We are going to engage the UN Human Rights Council on the issues.
But the new government will include Sarath Fonseca, the man who led the war to its bitter end.
I had the divisional commander directly under me. I was not going through even corps commandos or any other commanders. I had the 8th division directly under me. So I had to work out the new concepts, the tactics, new battle, the fighting methods.
But as the general who led the battle, as you said, in a hands-on way, what is your stand on these war crimes? Did they take place or not?
No, things are exaggerated, basically. The thousands and thousands of civilians dying,
yes,
it never happened. I took personally all the precautions, very clear instructions were given. We followed the international laws to the last letter. We were not going on just shooting spree or something like that.
The huge numbers that have been reported of civilians being killed, 30,000
to 40,000. Definitely all exaggerated.
If the government's Tamil allies want justice for war crimes, the Sinhala allies want justice against former LTTE warlords who cozied up to Rajapaksa. At the meeting where Sirisena took charge of the SLFP, Colonel Karuna, the former LTTE commander who rebelled against Prabhakaran. As a reward, Karuna became a minister with the Rajapaksa government. Sirisena and his allies had vowed to act against him. But now Sirisena heads the party of which Karuna is vice president.
No. I never borrowed because there are no any allegations about me. Some other people, they have allegation, but I don't have any allegation. I never borrowed also.
But you were very much in the LTTE?
Yeah, because I broke away from the LTTE. I joined with the government those time, before Piravaran died.
Right.
Then I supported the government, bring the peace here in Sri Lanka. That's what I never borrowed.
But
that's what everybody is here now.
Yes, but when you were in LTTE, there are allegations that you did carry out the killings of police, of soldiers. So those charges remain against you. And no, they want to act against you on the basis of that.
No. There are no any allegations. I never involved also those kind of things.
You were in LTTE when the Rajiv Gandhi was killed. That time you were still in LTTE.
That is the problem. We didn't know anything happened. We didn't know what is happened those time. But
you didn't know about Rajiv's assassination?
No, nobody knows because LTTE was the very secret movement.
You were a very senior leader of LTTE,
but I didn't know anything about those things. Not only me, many people didn't know anything. Okay. That is I heard the news, Pottu and the Piravaran, LTTE Piravaran done the plan and they done like that.
What was your reaction to that? Did you feel it was a good thing?
Before, when I was little, we were worried. Not only me, even the Andambalingam also worried about those things. Andambalingam shouted the Privaran also. Because don't do those kind of things like that.
Coming up, as the question of change in Sri Lanka remains contested, the one shift that India is closely watching. Welcome back. How much the new Sri Lanka will change is hotly contested. But one shift that India is keeping a close eye on is the exaggerated proximity to China during the Rajapaksa years. No better example than that of this Chinese port city coming up on prime Colombo seafront at a cost of over $1 billion, bang opposite the presidential palace. Now all that, members of the new regime tell us, is about to change.
I have always said that President Rajapaksa's regime tried to play China against India and India against China, and they become a cropper. Looking into all foreign contracts and local ones, and where there is corruption, yes, we will certainly ensure that we take action against it, whether it be Chinese or any other country. We are also reviewing the port city project because we have not yet seen the feasibility study and the environment impact assessment.
See, I mean, this is even there was some corruption case against me as well, and for most of the people
yes,
who was involved with him. So we are willing to face it. I mean, we haven't done anything wrong. What we have done was finishing
all the allegations that billions of dollars of contracts were awarded to the Chinese in return for which the family benefited, took kickbacks. Is there any substance in that?
There is no truth on that. There is no truth on that statement. So we are willing to face it, and I mean, they've already gone to the bribery commission and let them do the investigation, and we are willing to face it.
So we should not, unless it is very foolish for us to try to pinch India and try to hang on to another superpower somewhere else. That will not work.
In other words, we are not likely to see Chinese submarines docking in Colombo port, which irked India.
It irritates India, obviously. That we should be concerned about the sentiments of India also.
The problem is that you're also heavily in debt to China. You're almost $6, $7 to $8 billion of loans. So isn't that going to be a problem?
Well, it will be a problem, but I'm sure being old friends we can
work it out.
Iron things out together.
The question here is this. The new administration says it's got a 100-day program. If they do not deliver on that, then certainly Rajapaksa and his loyalists will still have a political life.